Now, the Duval Rundown, driven by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, home of the lifetime warranty.
Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Duval Rundown. I'm Hayes Carline. Pleased to be joined as well, not always on a Friday. Ryan doing a little switcheroo for us this week, but we appreciate his time. Ryan O'Halloran, obviously you can read his columns, Florida Times Union, Jacksonville.com. And Ryan's been kind enough to join us on the Frangie Show all week with Frank out, so we've had a lot of fun. But Ryan, I thought the big story of the bye week was your sit down with Liam Coen on Tuesday, a two-part column that came out of that. And we've talked about it on the Frangie Show, but for fans that maybe didn't catch that, let's go back through it. Just take us through the whole thing, his demeanor, and what you got out of the meeting.
Well, I'll sum it up like this, then I'll get into it a little bit. When you listen to him talk, you're like, I'll run down on a kickoff for you. Just give me a helmet. But seriously, it was in his second floor office on Tuesday afternoon, and it was probably 30 minutes on the record. And just to give the Jaguar fan a glimpse into the office it's a great office. I mean, he has a desk that is one of those things where you can crank up so you can stand while working. I didn't see a chair behind the desk. And he's got these two screens that are just state of the art, and just you could really see what he's talking about. And it was like my second question when he got out of his chair, grabbed his clicker and started showing me clips. And I'm like, hell yeah, man, this is going to be fun. And it was. And his demeanor was confident. But matter of fact, hey, 4-3, everybody should sign up for that in the NFL through 7 games. Last 2 games, his words, out-executed, out-coached. Let's agree on that. So their job as a coaching staff this week, and they were together Monday and Tuesday, and they met via Zoom a couple times this week while they were out of the office, was, hey, let's do a deep dive. Okay, what are the things that really went wrong? What are the things maybe you missed? And also, I think a lot of the self-scout is to confirm what you're seeing in the midst of a game, in the midst of a prep week. So long-winded answer, and I'll continue, is the first part of the column is I dive into his team meeting on Tuesday. At Jags.com has some of that on video in terms of what he actually said to the team, but it was along the same lines. He showed 70 plays. He divided into 3 parts. First part is, these are what we made mistakes as coaches on. A call here, a call there. We didn't coach this technique well enough. The next part was self-inflicted wounds. Any fan who's watched a Jaguar game knows what those are: false starts, illegal motions, missed tackles, blah, blah, blah. Third part was, and he ended on a positive note, he goes, this is all the good stuff. This is why you went 4-3. This is why you started 4-1, ended on a high. So that was the first part of the column. And before I get into the second part, just throw it back to you. I was impressed with just his transparency.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I thought it was wonderful insight that he gave you. And also the fact that he started the presentation by all the things that he felt like the coaches had gotten wrong,
Yeah.
Bad play calls. And, I thought that was really important. Regardless, he probably would have done this regardless, but I think it's especially relevant for what these players have gone through. The ones that were here for Urban Meyer went through the worst year probably any NFL player has ever gone through in terms of being led by somebody who had just no clue what he was doing. You follow that up with Doug Peterson, who did a good job in his first year of mending the trust between player and coach, but then I thought really rested on his laurels and really didn't put in a ton of effort, particularly once the collapse began. The last year and a half under Doug Peterson, Press Taylor, a lot of, I thought, stagnation, a lot of, things being held close to the vest that puts, strain on players when you're not willing to say who's calling the plays. So I think it's been really cool for this group to see how Liam approaches it, because I do think it's refreshing, and I think it's easy to buy into somebody, as you point out, when the leader says, look, these are the things that we got wrong first, and I acknowledge that, and it's my job, and I didn't do my job on these instances. I think his leadership has been outstanding for a first-year head coach.
Yeah, and it makes a huge difference when the head coach is the play caller, because then they can, during the course of critiquing your staff, you're critiquing yourself. That means you're pointing the thumb while also pointing the finger. And one example for the viewer that he gave was the 4th and 7 play in the first half against the Rams at the Rams 11. And he says, he froze the video and he looks at me, he goes, play call sucked. He goes, I did not give Trevor Lawrence, I did not give these players a chance to be successful on this play. And he rewound it back. He goes, covered. He goes, that was on me. And so I thought that was, that goes a long way with accountability, that, hey, if you're accountable, your players will be accountable.
Without a doubt. Let's get to part 2, because obviously Liam went into great detail about Trevor Lawrence. Let's start there. What stood out to you about Liam Coen's comments about the franchise quarterback?
Yeah, and I asked the question. I said, you've had 7 games of Trevor Lawrence to evaluate and work with him. What are now the things you want to take out of the playbook, or the things that, hey, this is what this guy does well? He went another direction. I'm glad he did. He said, hey, the 2 things we talked about with Lawrence on Tuesday were, A, when that first read is there, let it rip. Trust your eyes, trust your read, trust your preparation. And then the second thing is use his legs more. He goes, the Jaguars coaches really have to get him to lean into that. And you saw it last night with Justin Herbert. He scrambled a couple of times where he knew how to protect himself, but he got out of a bad situation and made a positive gain or even a first down. That's not comparing Herbert to Lawrence. That's comparing Lawrence to every quarterback in the league who does that. And one thing you mentioned on the radio yesterday was if the lane is there, take it, because now you're 2nd and 4 instead of 2nd and 13. Well, that opens up Liam Coen's entire play sheet. He could run it on 2nd and 6. So those are the 2 big things. And I did not sense frustration on the head coach's part with the quarterback, but it is a process. And I've been underwhelmed by Lawrence. His completion percentage needs to get better. Yes, he's had some drops.
It's dismal.
Yeah, and it's, in this era of pro football, it's dismal. So the blame rests on everybody on that one. Drops, bad passes, guys not getting open, etc. So those are my 2
But
takeaways.
imagine how hot he'd have to get just to finish at like 63% this year.
Yeah, I mean, he would need a couple 21 to 25 doozies.
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Probably not.
So, with the drops.
Lawrence does seem to be doing a very good job of running the operation, and Liam Coen was adamant about that.
Yeah, and he brought that up right away, and he said that you for the fans, you hear the term canning, and when he does this, he's getting out of the play. The first play they called the huddle, going to the second play. He goes, there's something not a lot of people recognize. That's a big reason why we're 4-3. I thought that was a pretty good attaboy to the quarterback with the way he's processing pre-snap. And the other thing he said is that the ball is coming out of his hands better than it was in week 1. Maybe that's because of comfort, the comfort level with the scheme. So I came away saying, hey, this is a head coach who is encouraged by some of the things that Lawrence is doing, but also knows that there's more left and a lot left. But it's also protection. It's also getting the running game back on track. And it's also your receivers, A, getting open better, and B, limiting their drops.
Jacob Simon's helping us out with Duval Rundown, as he always does. And Jacob, let's say hello to our sponsor, please.
I'm Rick Ballou, Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Westside, proud partner of the Jaguars. Drive with confidence. Every new vehicle comes with our exclusive lifetime warranty. 7030 Commonwealth Avenue or online at jackswest.com.
Brian, let's flip in to the other side of the ball and look at Travis Hunter. Obviously fascinating what the journey that he's undertaking, that the Jaguars are allowing him to undertake, and coming off, he was the bright spot in London with his first 100-yard receiving game, first touchdown. What did Liam Coen have to say about Travis Hunter and in terms of the usage and what he likes about the rookie's play so far.
Yeah, I'll start with the Ram game, and I don't care if there were empty calories. Somebody on that offense needed to rise up and say, "Hey, I'm ready for more work," and that was Travis Hunter. I think that's going to be exciting for Jaguar fans moving forward. And you made a good point on the show the other day, and I stole it for the paper. Is they probably had a vision for Travis Hunter offensively for the first half of the season, but they've had to change it because of the demise of Brian Thomas. They don't have a number one receiver right now on paper.
They don't have a number two receiver. If you're talking about him.
Yeah, and good point. And so now you're having to say, okay, who in this locker room is going to be able to make plays? And that's Hunter. You can see a little bit of a connection between Lawrence and Hunter. Okay, moving on to what Liam Coen had to say. He says they felt they have found the sweet spot in terms of Travis's schedule. He says practice is not an issue because it's scout team versus offense, scout team versus defense. He can be on the field for both those, rotating back and forth. He says it's a meeting time and it's a walkthrough time. And he says that's the challenge, is making sure he knows every little detail, because yes, first and second down are installed Wednesday morning at the facility, but that doesn't mean they're not tweaked or fine-tuned or changed completely on Friday. So it's about getting Hunter up to speed on every little detail, both offense and defense, and also making sure the players understand that he knows his stuff too. So I probably in the minority here. I like how they're using him. He's on track for 1,100 snaps. That's quarterback level snaps. And so that is unprecedented. And so, the only thing I may do on defense would be, do you start maybe playing him in base opposite of Greg Newsome, and then Jordan Lewis is your nickel? Maybe that's something to consider moving forward.
Absolutely. As we start to take a look at what awaits them in the second half, give us a gut feeling on, how you feel like they'll fare and what you think will be some big storylines for this second half of the season. Obviously, you'll be with us on Wednesday on Duval Rundown, your normal spot next week, and we'll talk a lot about the Vegas game. So while we have a chance to just take a deep breath, as you kind of survey what they have left remaining in terms of their schedule, what's a fair expectation for this team in the second half?
Yeah, I think a fair expectation is 9 wins. Gotta win the Vegas game. I mean, it's a must-win game because you hit it on the head. The Raiders had 30 plays against the Chiefs. The Chiefs had 30 first downs. I mean, it was a no contest. So you have to beat Las Vegas on the road, in 9 days. Okay, now you're 4-3. Then you go to Houston. Houston did not look that good against Seattle. I'll say 5-4. But now now you get the Chargers at home. Now you get the Titans twice. You get the Jets. You get the Colts twice. So it is there in front of them.
You get the Cardinals.
In the Cardinals, yeah. And I keep forgetting that game. To win the division would be a challenge at this point, because the Colts are 6-1, and they play Tennessee this week, so they could be 7-1. Now you're 2.5 games behind. So the expectation for me would be 8 or 9 wins, and just stay in it till the last couple of weeks. As for the concerns, I have more concerns right now than I do have things I feel good about. We've talked about the receiver. We've talked about the quarterback. On defense, the pass rush is broken. They have to be able to create ways with a 4-man rush to get more pressure. The safety play has been spotty. Eric Murray, because of his injury, Wingard has given up some big plays. And the other thing is, the kicker has the yips. And they have not signed anybody this week. Maybe they will on Monday to the practice squad. That's what I would do. So, they have more issues they have to fix than issues they can build on right now.
It really is amazing when you look at everything that hasn't gone right, that they're 4-3 against a tough schedule, against a schedule that is a combined 28-20 entering this week. You even look at the Carolina game that we all thought, Carolina might be a 3-14 team. Well, they're 4-3. So obviously, they're better than what people thought. But you look at, again, everything that's gone wrong for them. It's a litany of things. You mentioned the pass rush. I mean, who would have thought Hines, Allen, and Walker would have 2.5 sacks combined through the first 7 weeks? Again, 250 players have at least one sack this season, and Josh Hines-Allen is not one of those 250.
Yeah.
That's just stunning for somebody that's been healthy the whole season. Brian Thomas Jr. has been terrible. Cam Little has missed 5 kicks. Trevor Lawrence is completing less than 59% of his passes. The offense is 33% on third down, and the Jaguars have 65 penalties for 528 yards. Opponents have 44 penalties for 394 yards. And this team is 4-3 against a 28-20 slate of opponents. To me, that's the encouraging thing.
Yeah.
How has Liam Coen and his staff been able to win 4 of these 7? When you're talking about games against the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Texans, who have won this division the last 2 years, a surprising Carolina team, a Cincinnati team that's hanging in at 3-4. I think it's been pretty remarkable. If they can get if this is 5 major things, if they can get 3 of these 5 corrected, they'll be in great shape.
People say, well, San Francisco is banged up. Here's who was on the field for the 49ers that day. Fred Warner, Christian McCaffrey, and Brock Purdy. To me, that was a quality win. And they should have scored 40 in that game. They should have blown the 49ers out. So, one thing, you mentioned the penalties. I'll mention 2 things. One, they're 4-3 despite the penalties. They got to clean those up. And then second thing is, you can't live and die on takeaways. They lived on them. They're at 4-1. Now they're dying it during this 0-2 streak. So, you have to, get back to at least creating a couple, every so often. But the pass rush is the main thing. Trayvon Walker for the Jaguars, you should hope he has the club off for the Vegas game. It'll be a month post surgery, so maybe that will help. It should help. But if you're Anthony Campanile, you're like, okay, I can't really rush 6 a lot because that vacates the middle of the field. Maybe I rushed 5, but the Rams will block it up with 6. The Rams went empty backfield on that first drive on Sunday. They were not concerned about the Jaguar pass rush, nor should they have been. So I think they have to get back to doing some of the things they did well early in the season. Pass protect better, rush the passer better, fix the penalty thing, which had been terrible all season.
Without a doubt. Again, Ryan's got a 2-part Liam Coen column, exclusive access. I encourage you to go read that if you haven't at jacksonville.com. And Ryan, give us a preview of what you'll have this weekend and leading into early week before we catch up with you on Wednesday for Duval Rundown. Yeah,
we throttled back from the Jags a little bit with the off week. So tomorrow, Saturday, Notes column, I lead with the NBA debacle, and that's exactly what it is a debacle. Sunday, I have a Florida-Georgia column looking at the 2 games in series history where an interim coach was involved. This will be the 3rd one next Saturday. And then next week, some more college football, but also some Jag stuff, including one more column off my interview with Liam Coen.
Sounds great. We'll look forward to it. Well, Ryan, I'll see you later today.
I'll see you later.
for the Frangie Show at 4:00. It's been a lot of fun this week. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And certainly we always enjoy having Ryan on Duval Rundown. So that'll be next Wednesday. We'll come back with Duval Rundown Monday with Frank Frangie, voice of the Jaguars and host of the Frangie Show, and then Rick Ballou Friday. Of course, Rick is into the night. You can hear him every evening on 1010XL. So that's going to do it for us. Enjoy the bye weekend. Go do something fun. The weather's beautiful. It's nice and crisp out. So enjoy it, and we will look forward to talking with you next week. Go Jags.